Baby poop? Baby poop, newborn baby poop, baby poopish. It looks like baby poop. I gotta quit saying baby poop. Welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel, and I am back with another crochet kit for you guys. But this time, it's not an amigurumi kit. It is a garment kit, which is the first time I'm ever going to be trying a garment kit on this channel. If you've been following along with my channel and my garment making journey, you will know that I've had some highs and I've had some lows. And I'm really just wanting to get more into garment making. So I'm really hoping that this kit helps me along with that. This is a Herrschner's brand kit, which I just finished reviewing. Herrschner's brand yarn, which is what all the frogs in the background were made with. If you missed that video, you can go watch that one after you watch this one, of course. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this kit. Okay, so here is what our kit looks like. It does come in this little zipper bag that I feel like would be really nice to use as a project bag as we go along. That's kind of nice. This is the design that I chose, which is the Vintage Vibes Vest. And I do think that it's really cute. You guys will have to let me know what you think about it. I showed this to my husband and he's like, well, that's something, which just means that he doesn't like it. But I think that it's cute. And I also think that this model makes it look really cool. I have to admit, I really don't wear a lot of vests. But I think that it's cute to wear like this, like over a cami or something in the summertime. Or I could also have the option of wearing it over a t-shirt or wearing it over a button down, something like that. Now, I do believe I paid around $20 for this. There were different prices depending on what size you got. There was an extra small, medium/large, and then extra large/2X. That was how they broke down the sizing. And I did choose the middle option, which is medium/large. And I may end up regretting that because I probably should have chosen a small. I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe they have the instructions for all three sizing in here. And that price was only based on how much yarn you get. So we'll see all of that as we go along. We'll kind of decide if we think that that was a good deal or not for all of this yarn. Let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at this yarn. Okay, so here is all the yarn that my kit came with. It is 3 of this orange color, 2 of each of the other colors. So the kind of cream color here, blue, and then this kind of mustard yellow color. And I love all these colors together. I think they're so pretty. This is called the Afghan Yarn Retro Edition, which I love that. This is a size 2 yarn, and I have never worked with a size 2 yarn. I don't think that I really could have predicted that that's what this would have been made with just from looking at the picture, but we're gonna go with it. This yarn does feel quite nice. It feels like a really kind of soft, it's like a slightly fuzzy texture to it. I'm hoping that this is going to feel really good against the skin. It is a 100% acrylic. It does recommend a size E hook. What size millimeter is that? I'm not even sure. I'll have to go look. I think I have one of those. I did take a peek inside of here, and it is just a whole bunch of instructions. There are no photos. There's no hand holding. There's no telling you about stitches. Now on the back, they do give you an abbreviation list. They give you washing instructions and a little, oh, right here we can find out. A size E is a 3.5. Oh yeah, of course, I have a 3.5. So we will get started on that, but this does have instructions for all 3 of the different sizes. So I think I might go ahead and do the size small because I ordered this before I actually finished my cardigan that I failed on. And what I didn't like about that cardigan is that I chose a size medium and it was just too big. And so I'm hoping that choosing the size small won't be a mistake and it'll be too small. I don't know. I'm a little stressed about that, but we will see as we go along. I will have to also say that this is not the type of kit that comes with a crochet hook or stitch markers or any of that kind of thing. And that was very clear on the website as well, which I don't really mind because I already have a plethora of crochet hooks. I don't need another one. I have plenty of stitch markers. I don't need any more. So that doesn't bother me at all. So you buy this kind of crochet kit for the yarn and for the instructions. I am a little bit curious if this comes with any online instructions at all. I don't see anything. It does just say if you need assistance, it gives you a customer service number, which I hate talking on the phone, so I'm definitely not going to be doing that. But anyway, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started on this. I have no idea how long this is going to take, so wish me luck. Okay, so first impression time. This is how far I have gotten, and you guys should be so proud of me because I actually did a gauge swatch. I know, round of applause, round of applause. I did this little square right here, and that was supposed to be 2.5 inches wide, and it was actually exactly correct with the hook size that they recommended. So I didn't have to change anything. I was really happy about that. And I am going to go with a size small because right here in the instructions, it does say bust size up to 36 is a size small, and I'm sitting at 35. I was expecting to get a lot further today, but for some reason, the shape of this really confused me. So it is basically just a granny square here, and then you continue to just only work on 2 sides, and it grows that way. And I've never done that before. And the instructions are not bad. They're not bad at all. They're just very bare bones. And like I said, since I'd never done that before, for some reason, I just kept trying to go on 3 sides. And I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. I finally got the hang of it. And now that I have the hang of it, I am just going to be able to continue to repeat until it tells me to start doing something else. So it should be pretty easy from here. Now, the yarn. It is quite soft. Love the texture of this. It is really nice. However, it is really not the easiest yarn of all time to work with. Like I had said before, it does have this fuzzy texture to it, and it just has a tendency to want to snag a bit. I'm getting used to it now the more I go along, but I was having to redo some stitches here and there when I first started. But overall, I do think it looks really nice. Like I said, love these colors. I am going to continue on after I give myself a little bit of a break here, but I feel like this is going to take a little while. But now that I have the hang of it, hopefully it won't take me as long as I feel like it will. But anyway, I will check in with you guys when I check in with you, but so far, pretty good. Okay guys, here is how far I've gotten on my little vest. It is definitely going a lot faster now that I got the hang of the pattern. But I was noticing something last night. This color right here, this yellow color, looks just a little bit like baby poop. Especially compared to this right here, the sample photo. I don't know. Can you tell? Am I being nitpicky? I just feel like this yellow looks a little bit more bright, whereas this has a little bit more of a greenness to it. It may be a little bit hard to tell on camera. And even yesterday, as I had them over on my desk, which is right by a window, the colors looked really nice. And then last night, as I was working on it in more dim lighting, I was like, well, this is not quite the color I thought that it was. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I just think that the sample looks a little bit more bright than the actual yarn once it's worked up, especially. Am I crazy? I don't know. It is going well, question mark. I just don't love this yarn, you guys. I see the appeal because this is so soft. Love the texture of it. Like the way that it looks. The stitch definition is pretty nice for it being kind of a fluffier yarn. This is just not the easiest to work with, in my opinion. Like I said, it just wants to snag. And as you can see, there's a little bit of fuzziness that wants to come off of it. It's just not my favorite. And it is called Afghan yarn. So I wonder if kind of the initial purpose for this yarn would be more for blankets. I don't really know. It's okay. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. And because I got the medium/large kit instead of the small, I know I'm going to have a lot of leftovers since I'm going with the size small. So I'm going to need some ideas for what to do with all of this. The colors are nice. I mean, besides the baby poop, I do feel like it looks even better in the skein. And then when it's here, I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I've been looking at it too long. You guys will have to let me know if you think that this is a bit more baby poopish. I gotta quit saying baby poop. Okay, I'm done. All right, so I am going to weave in some of these ends just to break up the process a little bit, and then I will continue on. I'll check it with you guys in a little bit. Am I wearing my Wicked headband right now to distract you from how absolutely horrendous my roots are right now? Yes, I am. Mind your business. Anyway, after approximately 5,000 ends I had to weave in, one of which is sticking out right there, I'm just now noticing. Ignore that as well. I finished the first panel. So here is where we are at. I like it, ? I'm still so thrown off by this color. I feel like it shows up better on camera than it does in real life, which is really frustrating, but it does just have almost a green tint to it. And I want to quit calling it baby poop, but I don't know what other color to call it. It looks like baby poop to me. I don't know. It's throwing me off a lot. I feel like I would like it so much better if this were a brighter, more vibrant yellow, because I love a mustard yellow, but this is just not it. It's just not it. So the construction of this is interesting. So essentially you start here and then go all the way out to here. And then you do a few rounds around that. And then you add a few extra rows to the sides and a few to the top. And then of course do the straps here. It's just really interesting. I don't know. I guess looking at it, I wouldn't have exactly been able to figure that out. It's not difficult. It is not a difficult pattern. However, personal preference alert, whenever there are patterns that have just like a huge paragraph of text and there are no line breaks, something about that breaks my brain. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm alone in this. And I know that they were trying to save space so that they could fit the pattern on 2 pages. But man, sometimes I'm just like, my eyes just start to glaze over. And again, this could be a me problem, but the instructions themselves are pretty easy. And once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple. It does say that it is for a beginner, or it at least says easy is the skill level. And I would agree with that. Again, I'm pretty new at garment making, and this was pretty simple. Now, sizing wise, I think this is going to be pretty good. At first I was worried because I was like, this does not go all the way to the other side. But essentially you make this exact same thing again, including the side panels. And so that should fit me just fine. So I have to make this whole thing again, one more time, and then it'll be time to seam it together. And then we will work on the little bottom frill section, which I'm glad that it has a bottom frill because this is like quite short. Although, you know, this is my waist right here. I always have things longer than that, but I think for something that I'm wanting to wear over, like this is a shirt that I would wear it over, I want it to be longer than that. So I'm glad that we're adding a few extra rows with the frilly bits at the bottom. So anyway, going to head off to go make this again. I know I sound a little bit defeated. It's not, again, the crocheting is not difficult. It's just, I think there's something in my mind about repeating the exact same thing again. For some reason with the hexagon cardigan, that doesn't bother me. But with this one, I think it's just all the ends. I'm going to be honest. I think it's just all of these ends. And I don't even feel like I'm a person that minds weaving in ends as much as other people do. Some people seem to like vehemently hate it. I don't hate it. It is just a little boring though. So hopefully this goes pretty quick now that I know what I'm doing. So off to make this exact same thing once again. few days later. My hair is freshly dyed, as you can see, and I am currently wearing what I have of this tank top vest situation so far. But before I fully show you, I do have to admit that I seamed this together completely wrong. And I can't decide if it is just me being a big dummy or if these instructions are a little bit confusing. So I'm going to read them to you and I will let you be the judge of it. Okay, just let me read this. Using the image as guide, which I guess they just mean this image because that's the only image in this whole thing. Holding the front and back side by side with small white square in the left on the front and the lower right on the back, working in the stitches between the front and back, join color D, which is the orange color, with a slip stitch, yarn over, draw a loop through, insert hook in first stitch in the front piece, or front left piece, yarn over, pull loop through, and through loop on hook, continue to join the sides together with a zigzag stitch across. And then it just tells you to fasten off and repeat on the other side. And I thought that I did that. Basically what you're doing is joining them together with a slip stitch instead of sewing them together, which is fine, but I just completely did it wrong. Well, I thought that I was doing it correctly, but then I realized that this square is supposed to be on the opposite side. I think, again, does it look like the picture? Did I actually do it right? No, I did it completely wrong. So anyway, let me go to a better angle and you can see the full thing. Although I have to say I'm being so brave by showing you this because this thing looks terrible on me. So here is what the full thing looks like on, and I hate it so far. So the square should be, again, it's here, it should be here. Could I take this out and redo it? Yes. Will I? Probably not, because I already know that I'm not going to ever wear this thing. It's probably immediately going to get donated because I just don't like the way that it looks or feels on me. So let me explain a little bit. So basically my problem, I think, is that the only measurement that they had you measure on yourself is your bust. And I am not a busty gal. As you can probably tell, I am a bit more pear-shaped, as it were, which I hate that we compare women's bodies to fruits, but I digress. So I do have bigger, hips than I do bust. And so I think because of that, it's really clinging to my hips. And it's just making me uncomfortable from a body confidence standpoint. This is just not how I usually like clothes to fit me. And then at the top, this is really gapping and the straps are kind of falling off. But if I make the straps any shorter, I'm afraid that this will be too small and be like all up in my armpit. I am hoping that this will end up fitting a little bit better once we add the border that they want you to add. We will see. And maybe I will like this better once I do have, because the end is a little bit wider. The ribbing section has like a little bit of a frill to it. So maybe I'll like it better once I add that. But another thing is that this yarn is almost staticky. It wants to like cling, like as if this wasn't already like a little bit too tight. I think the main issue is that this is like clinging to my body. And I actually noticed that with the yarn itself, that it wants to like stick to things. It's staticky and it's really strange. So I just don't love it. I don't think it looks good on me. I don't think it feels good. I am going to finish this. So the only thing I have left is to do, like I said, the bottom ribbing and then the border around here and the border around here, and it will be done. And then of course I'll have like 50 bajillion more ends to weave in, as you can see. But other than that, it will be done. And like I said, I'm going to finish this for the sake of the video, but it's probably immediately going to get donated because I'm just not loving it. Maybe it'll get saved. Maybe also some steaming will help with the clinginess a little bit. I don't really know. The one good thing that I can say is that this yarn does feel nice. Like it feels nice against my skin. It is soft, but other than that, I hate it. Well, y'all, I did it. I finished this Herrschner's brand tank top vest situation, whatever you want to call this. And in the end, I like it a lot better than I thought that I would. I still don't love it, but as of yesterday, I absolutely hated it and thought I would want to throw it in the trash. I don't exactly want to throw it in the trash, but I don't exactly know if I'll ever wear this again either. So I did give this a nice steam once I was finished with it, which I do think helps with the way that it lays a little bit better and with the clinginess that I was experiencing yesterday. But if I were to keep this, there are some changes I would have to make. I would have to cinch in this because it is just way too big and these straps are falling off. I do think that if I did another row here and really cinched this in, it would help a lot. And then a change that I think I would like to make is to actually add sleeves. So I might take out this and add sleeves because I think it would be cute to have some like flutter sleeves to match the bottom hem of this, because that is my favorite part about this is the bottom section. I think that is so stinking cute. The way that they have you do not just a cinched in ribbing, but like a fluttery looking ribbing. I think that it is so cute. And I think matching sleeves would look really cute as well. I don't know if I'll make any of those changes because like I said, I don't know if I will ever wear this again, but you know, maybe you guys can talk me into it if you think I should keep this. What I do appreciate about this experience is that it really did kind of open my mind up to the way that you can construct granny square garments, because like I said, it does start as a granny square and then you do granny stitches around it until it's the right size. I think that having done that, now I kind of understand going forward. And I think that if I were to do this on my own, I could make it fit me a lot better than just following the pattern. So let's talk about the kit in general for just a little bit. First, let's talk about the yarn. So this yarn, as you guys already know from what I've told you so far, I just really don't like this yarn. I found it to be really hard to work with in terms of snagging and splitting. And then of course there was the staticky issue that I was having. And then of course, the baby poop color. I was working on this over the weekend, visiting family, and two of my sister-in-laws were there that have young kids. And they did confirm that this yellow color is the color of newborn baby poop. So I felt very validated, although no less disappointed. It is such a shame though, because the texture of this yarn is so nice, but working with it was not fun at all. So now let's talk about the instructions for a minute. So this, for the most part, I was able to understand the instructions, but this is just a granny square and granny stitch project. And I've done a lot of those in the past, so I pretty quickly understood what the instructions were getting at. Once I got past the first like couple of rounds, I was like, oh, okay, I get this now. And I was able to sail through without barely even needing to look at the instructions because I knew what they were getting at. However, then when it came to the assembly, I struggled with those instructions. So I do kind of wonder if you've never done a granny square, you've never done a granny stitch project before, would these instructions be any good for a beginner? I don't know. I kind of lean towards maybe not. And again, I just don't really love the way that they formatted this, where it's these huge chunky blocks of text with no line breaks. And again, I understand that they're doing this because they want to fit it on a 2-page spread, and that's going to save them money. They're going to be able to sell it for cheaper if they, have it that way. I do think that a kit like this could really benefit from having a QR code that you could scan, and then you could go online and have the pattern there and maybe have the option of printing it out if you want. But that way they could have things spaced a lot better. They could add more photos in, because that was another thing I didn't really like, is that the only photo is there's like one of the front and one of the back. It would have really helped me when it came to the assembly section to have a photo to kind of understand what they were going for, but they didn't have that. So I do feel like this pattern was extremely bare bones, and some people are going to like that or be okay with that, and some people are not. And personally, like I said, I got there, although I sewed it on totally opposite of what it should have been. But I do feel like for a beginner, it might be a little bit rough. So now let's talk about the price for a second. So I paid $20 for this, like I said, and for $20, I got 9 skeins. If I were to just buy those skeins on the Herrschner's website, it would cost about $17. So you pay $2 extra for this pattern. Do I think that it was worth that? I don't know. If you look at it that way, it's not so bad. And of course, I have a ton of leftover yarn because I did buy the medium size and then I made it in a size small. And even still, I feel like if I were to have made this in a medium, I probably still would have had a lot of yarn left over. So I do appreciate that they give you enough yarn. So like I said, it's really not a terrible price at all, but would I buy this again? No. I will probably in the future stick to buying yarn that I know that I like and then just going online and finding either a free pattern or buying a pattern that I know is going to come with a bit more instructions and a bit more photos, because as somebody who's still pretty new at making garments, I kind of need that still. So overall, not a great experience, but not a terrible one either. I didn't do my normal thumbs up, thumbs down, sideways thumb rating, but if I were to give overall this kit a rating, it would be a resounding sideways thumb. It was okay. You guys will have to let me know what you thought about today's video. Have you ever done a clothing crochet kit before? Do you have any good recommendations for better ones? Or should I just stick to, like I said, getting my own yarn and my own pattern? And also, if you have any tips for how to improve this garment, please let me know. You guys have been so helpful in the comments on my garment making journey. You have no idea how much it means to me that you are helping me along and are not judging me too harshly for my newbie mistakes. As always, if you have made it to this part of the video, I want to know, what were you working on as you watched today's video? If you did like today's video, be sure to hit the like button. You can subscribe, stick around, let me know what other kind of videos you want to see next. You can join my Patreon where I make a bonus video as well as an exclusive pattern once a month. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.